Hello and welcome to the Intelligent Hypnotist. Sean here, and today I'd like to talk to you about a variation of the Swish pattern. The Swish pattern comes from NLP, and it's an awesome pattern that links two pictures together. And the two pictures are typically something that you see in the outside world that lets you know it's time to go into a particular state, and then a picture of yourself, your future self, your possible self in that ideal state. It's very often used with things like smoking, nail biting, where someone may use the Swish to attach a picture of their ideal non-smoking self onto a pack of cigarettes, for example. So each time they see their pack of cigarettes, the picture of their ideal non-smoking self appears in front of them and draws them in that new direction. And I'd like to talk to you about a variation of the Swish pattern which I call the doorway swish. So what is a doorway? Well, a doorway is a boundary, an entrance, a threshold. It's something that you pass through to move into a new space. And a new space typically means a new way of being, a new place to do something new. Even if you think about your own house, a doorway links two rooms, and each room in your house has its own purpose, its own function. So the living room has one function for you to sit in and relax. The dining room has another function for you to go in and sit and enjoy a meal. The kitchen has another function where you can go and cook. The bedroom has a function for you to sleep or to be with a loved one, and so on and so forth. Each room has got its own function, and each function implies that you have the opportunity to step into a different state, a state that's ideal for you in that context. So if you're in the living room, perhaps a state of relaxation. If you're in the kitchen, it might be a state of creativity where you can make some awesome food, and so on and so forth. So each room has a different activity associated, each activity has a different state associated, and therefore each time you walk through a doorway, you have the opportunity to become a new version of you. A version of you that's ideal for the activity that you'll be performing in that room. And the doorway swish takes advantage of this by using the swish pattern to attach a picture of your ideal self to each doorway that you're going to pass through, each threshold into a new area, a new state of being, a new activity. So, I'll give you an example. If you step through the doorway of a meeting room at work, so you're stepping into a meeting where you're going to present your ideas to your colleagues or your clients, then you want to be in a certain state when you're presenting those ideas, perhaps a state of confidence, a state of certainty, a state of belief in yourself, belief in your company, a belief in your product, a belief in the solution that you can bring to your clients. And if you think about your ideal self, the version of you that is totally confident and totally aligned with your product, has total belief in the power of the product which your company provides. And you take that picture of your ideal self and you think, how does that person, how does the ideal me that has that total sense of confidence in what I'm doing, how do I look in that state? How do I carry myself? How do I breathe? Maybe I breathe more deeply. What's the expression on my face? Perhaps focus, confidence, happiness, where I can walk into that room totally confident and happy that I'm on top of everything. And so I'll see my ideal self in front of me, and when I've got that picture just the way I want, I'm going to attach it onto the doorway. So that each time I see the doorway to that meeting room, and I begin to move towards it and step through the doorway, that image of my ideal self is going to open up in the doorway. So when I step through that doorway, I take that persona on almost like a new skin. I step inside my ideal self. Now, you may be asking, how do I attach the picture? How do you attach the picture of your ideal self onto the doorway? Well, first of all, you make the picture of your ideal self. How does your ideal self stand? How do they breathe? What's the expression on their face? What gestures do they use that let you know that this is your ideal self for what you'll be doing in that room where you're just about to step? Make that picture big and bright so that it's really attractive, so that you go, yeah, that's the person that I want to be when I step into that room. And when you've got that picture just the way you want to be, what I do is I begin to imagine that it's like a membrane, like a stretchy piece of silk with a picture of myself on it. And then I just attach it to the doorway, to the door frame, so that when I look at the doorway, I see my ideal self stretched like a piece of silk over the doorway. So that when I step through that doorway, that silk, that picture of myself, wraps around me like a new skin. And I feel myself step into that ideal state. And you can do this with all the doorways in your life. Maybe not all the doorways, but all the key doorways in your life. If you have a meeting room in the office, you can attach your ideal business self to the doorway of the meeting room. If you have your kitchen, you might want to attach your most creative cookery self onto the doorway of your kitchen. Or maybe the picture of yourself that eats healthily, if you're on a diet, say, that makes wise choices in terms of food. How does that ideal self look? Get that picture on the screen, put that screen over the doorway, so when you step into your kitchen, you feel yourself literally step into your ideal self for being in the kitchen. And you can do this with all the main doorways, all the main spaces, all the main rooms in your life where you spend time, so that each one has your ideal self for that context in that room. What's your best self for that room? And then you use your imagination. You attach the picture over the doorway. You look away, you come back, attach the picture over the doorway. Look away, come back, attach the picture over the doorway. Look away, come back, attach the picture over the doorway. Repeat that 5, 6, 7 times until when you look at the doorway, you actually see the image of your ideal self superimposed on the doorway. Then you know you've got it. And then step through the doorway and feel yourself step into that ideal you, so that it's waiting for you each and every time you step through that doorway. So this is the doorway swish. If you want to know more about the swish pattern itself, we have a book called The Swish Pattern, and that's available on Amazon.com. You can search for Swish Sean Carson and you'll find the book, and that's got all sorts of details on the swish pattern and all sorts of variations on the swish pattern, including the doorway swish. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this pattern and you use it in your life to become more of the person that you want to be. Have a great day.